graders, it's so great to see you again. For today's lesson, we'll be doing a read aloud, which is why I decided to sit in front of my fireplace because I really like to be nice and cozy whenever I'm reading. And I also wore my Mirror Lake sweatshirt, gotta represent. And the materials that you'll need today are just a notebook and a pencil or whatever writing utensil you have. I love to use pencils in case I make any mistakes because then I can go back and fix them. All right, let's get started. All right, first graders, it is time once again for my favorite part of our lesson, the learning target and success criteria. This is my favorite part because this helps us know what our goals are for the lesson and how we can achieve them. So, just like before, when I say mirror, you can go ahead and stand up or stay seated just like me. I decided I wanted to be kind of cozy today since we're doing our read aloud, and you can mirror and follow along. The first time I'll read it and you can just listen, and then the next time we can do it together. Are you ready? Okay, mirror. I will listen to the text and answer questions about the story using text evidence. All right, let's do it one more time. I will listen to the text and answer questions about the story using text evidence. Great work! Now we get to move on to our success criteria. And when we do our success criteria, this is what helps us know that we've achieved our learning goal. These are all the steps that we can take to show what we've learned today. So we'll do it once myself, and then you get to follow along, or you can join both times. Mirror. I can listen to the read aloud. I can answer questions using evidence from the text. I can tell or write my answers with the sentence stem. I think blank because the text says or the picture shows blank. All right, one more time. I can listen to the read aloud. I can answer questions using evidence from the text. I can tell or write my answers with the sentence stem. I think blank because the text says or the picture shows blank. Amazing work, first graders. All right, first graders. So we all know that great readers practice their reading habits. And one reading habit that we always want to do is take a sneak peek of a book. That's when you look really carefully through the pages without reading any of the words and just imagine what you think the story might be about or what the nonfiction text might be about. In this case, we're reading a fiction text called Maddie's Fridge. And in a minute, I'm going to show you the story. We're not going to read any of the words yet. We're just going to look at the pictures, look at the cover, and look at the back and see what we think this book might be about. So, my question for you is, what do you think this book will be about? Why? And then your sentence frame is, I think this book will be about blank because the pictures show blank. All right, are you ready to see the book? Okay, let's do a sneak peek. Okay, look really closely at the pictures. This has beautiful illustrations. And I want you to think about what you see. I see lots of characters, lots of interesting colors. I see silly faces. I see different settings and different kinds of food. I see a rock wall. I see 2 refrigerators. I see a dog and a family. Wow, awesome job. Okay, so now we did our sneak peek. We looked all through the book, and I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning. And we learned a lot from this, right? So now, I'm going to give you a moment to answer the question. And you can write it in your notebook. That's why I put a little pencil over here. Or you can tell someone in your family what you think this book will be about. Okay, now that you've had some time to think about what the book might be about and tell someone or write it down, I want you to keep that thought in your brain because then we can go and when we read, you can check and see, was my thinking correct or was it about something totally different? Either way, it's a really awesome opportunity. So, our next step is going to be to do a high five retell. And I love to do this in my class because on our hands, most people have 5 fingers, and each finger represents a different part of the story. So, when you're reading, one way that you can stay engaged and keep focused on the book is to think about the characters, setting, beginning, middle, and end. When we think about the characters, we can retell the story to our family or to our friends and say who the characters are using their names. The setting is where the story takes place. So, right now, my setting is my house in Tacoma, Washington. The setting in our story is somewhere different, and we'll see that in a minute. The beginning is what happens first in the story. The middle is what happens in the middle, and the end is what happens at the very end. And we can use some different keywords like first, next, then, last, and finally when we're retelling those parts of the story to our family. Okay, so don't want to get to the questions yet. We're going to go ahead and read our story. And let's see if I can make it bigger. I think that's as big as it's going to be. So we'll go ahead and read. Oh, this is Maddie's Fridge, written by Lois Brandt, illustrated by Vin Vogel. When Sophia and Maddie played at the park, they stretched their toes to the sky. They climbed to the top of the ladder and flew off the end of the slide. They stayed until the buildings grew long shadows and even the taxis stopped honking. So I see some characters. Let's play on the climbing wall, Maddie said. No way, Sophia said. I can't reach. Yes way, Maddie scooted to the top of the wall. Your turn. Sophia put one foot on the bottom rock, grabbed with one hand, and stretched, but she couldn't quite reach the next hold. Sophia's stomach growled. I give up. Let's get a snack. No way, Maddie said. Let's stay here. Yes way. Sophia ran to Maddie's building and raced up the stairs. Wait! Maddie ran after her. Maddie was the best climber, but Sophia was the fastest runner. I bet some of you are familiar with fast climbers and fast runners out at recess. Sophia swung open Maddie's fridge. What have you got? We have milk, Maddie said. I'm saving it for Ryan. He's still little. Why doesn't your mom go to the store? Sophia asked. We don't have enough money. But what if you get hungry? We have some bread, Maddie said. I guess I'll go home to eat, Sophia said. Please don't tell anyone, Maddie said. Okay. Promise? I promise. I wonder why Maddie asked Sophia to promise not to tell anyone about her fridge. Are you wondering the same thing too? And I also noticed that we have characters, setting, the beginning of our story, and I think we're about to get to the middle. Sophia ran home past the bookstore and the grocery store. The sun went down behind the buildings and took all the colors with it. Good timing, Mom said. Dinner's almost ready. Louise was wrestling on the floor with Pepito. Sophia opened the refrigerator door. Pepito peeked inside. Sophia's fridge was full of eggs and tortillas and cheese and lettuce and jam and salsa and tofu and even half a can of dog food. Wow, there's a lot of stuff in Sophia's fridge. Is that the same as Maddie's fridge or different? Here you go, Mom said. Sophia and Louise each had a plate of fish and rice. Mom had a plate of fish and rice. Even Pepito had his bowl of dog food with a little bit of fish and rice. Maddie and Ryan only had some bread and a small carton of milk. Sophia couldn't tell Mom. She had to keep her promise to Maddie. I wonder, it looks like Sophia's thinking. I wonder what her idea is. Not fish again, Louise said. I want cheesy pizza bombs. Cheesy pizza bombs are a treat, Mom said. Fish is a good source of protein. Is fish good for kids? Sophia asked. Yes, Mom smiled. Fish is perfect for kids. That night, Sophia had an idea. I wonder what Sophia's going to do. Do you have any ideas about what Sophia might do? I don't know. What do you see in the picture? It looks like she's got a piece of or a big fish and a plastic bag, and I see her backpack. I wonder what will happen. Yuck, Maddie said the next day. Ugh, said Sophia, double yuck. Fish may be good for kids, but fish is not good for backpacks. After school, Sophia and Maddie raced to the climbing wall. Sophia got there first, but Maddie scrambled past her to the top of the wall. Sophia stretched and stretched. Keep trying, Maddie said. You'll get it. I can't. Sophia slumped down. It's too high. I wonder if Sophia will make it to the top of the rock wall. That night, Sophia, Louise, and Mom ate frittata. Pepito had his dog food with a little bit of frittata. Maddie and Ryan still had an empty refrigerator. Sophia couldn't ask for help. That would break her promise. She had to try again. Are eggs good for kids? Sophia asked. Not as good as cheesy pizza bombs, Louise said. Cheesy pizza bombs are a treat, Mom said. Eggs are good for you. After dinner, Sophia packed eggs for Maddie and Ryan. Do you think the eggs will be good in her backpack the next day? Or do you think they'll be stinky too? Let's find out. Yuck, Maddie said. Double yuck, Sophia said. Eggs may be good for kids, but eggs are not good for backpacks. Sophia and Maddie raced to the climbing wall. Sophia won again, but Maddie shot past her to the top of the wall. Sophia grabbed a one hold, reached for the next, and came down with a thump. That happens sometimes, Maddie called. This is impossible, Sophia said. Keep trying, Maddie said. You'll get it. I wonder if Sophia will keep trying to bring food for Maddie and if she'll get the right kind of food. That night, Sophia, Louise, and Mom had burritos. Pepito had his dog food with a little bit of burrito and no salsa. Maddie and Ryan still had an empty fridge. Sophia wished she hadn't promised Maddie. Are burritos good for kids? Sophia asked. Burritos are very good for you, Mom said. Not as good as, Louise started to say. You should pay attention to your nutrition like your sister, Mom said. The next morning, Sophia put 2 burritos in her backpack, along with tortillas, beans, cheese, and even some milk. No thanks, Maddie said. You haven't even looked, Sophia said. Is it fish? Maddie asked. No. Is it eggs? No. Is it gross? I don't know, Sophia said. Maddie shook the backpack. Something sloshed. Let's look together, Maddie said. 1, 2, 3, go! Burritos are good for kids and good for backpacks, too. Do you want some milk? Sophia asked. Thanks, Maddie said, but I'll save the milk for Ryan. Sophia and Maddie raced to the climbing wall. Sophia won as usual and tried to climb. You can do it, Maddie said. Take my hand. Woohoo! I made it to the top, Sophia shouted. We're the tallest kids in the park, Maddie said. Thanks for helping me, Maddie. I couldn't do it alone. Maddie shrugged. That's what friends are for. After they finished playing, Sophia walked home past the bookstore and the grocery store. Her own fridge was full of milk and juice and chicken and yogurt and bread and carrots and even half a can of dog food. She thought and thought. Maddie's fridge only had 2 tortillas and a cup of beans and a bit of cheese and a little more milk than before. Sophia didn't want to break her promise, but she couldn't help Maddie alone. Sophia told. She hoped Maddie wouldn't be mad. I'm glad you told me, Mom said. Let's see what we can do together. They loaded grocery bags with milk, flour, chicken, carrots, sugar, oil, and even frozen meat and vegetables. Luis pulled his package of cheesy pizza bombs out of the freezer. He thought and thought and thought some more. Then he put his cheesy pizza bombs in Maddie and Ryan's bag. For a treat, he said. At Maddie's apartment, the moms talked. Luis and Ryan played. Sophia and Maddie ran to the park. You broke your promise, Maddie said. I'm sorry, Sophia said. Are you mad? A promise is important, Maddie said. You're more important, Sophia said. I wanted you to have milk too. Maddie smiled. Are we still friends? Sophia asked. Always, Maddie said. Double always, Sophia said. Cheesy pizza bombs! Louise yelled. Our moms made cheesy pizza bombs for a treat! Sophia and Maddie raced up the stairs. Sophia slowed down so they could run together. That's what friends are for. The end. All right, first graders, so now that we've read our story, here is my question for you. Why did Maddie ask Sophia to promise not to tell anyone about her fridge? Why did she do that? What did you read or see in the story that could help you answer this question? And then our sentence frame for you to answer the question, either by writing it down or by telling someone in your family or one of your friends, is I think Maddie asked Sophia not to tell anyone about her fridge because blank. I think this because the text says or the pictures show blank. I'll give you a minute to answer. All right, my friends, super proud of you today. Please keep reading. My cat wants to say hello and goodbye. I am so glad that we got to read together today. I'll see you next week.
Hi friends, it's Miss Vispernia again. So nice to see you. Today we're going to start off with doing some calendar and then we're going to move into number sense like we've been doing these past couple days. So first we're going to start off with calendar, and when we start with calendar we're going to start with our months in a year. Do you remember how many months there are in a year? Yeah, there are 12 months in a year, and that's 2 more than 10. So we're going to go ahead and sing our months of the year song. Here we go. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, and August, September, October, November, and December. These are the months of the year. All right, one more time. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, and August, September, October, November, and December. These are the months of the year. Nice job, friends. Do you remember what month we are in right now? Yeah, we're in the month of July. Here we go. Let me get my pointer out. We are in the month of July. And so when we talk about July and we talk about months, in each month there are weeks. And in each week there are how many days? Yeah, there are 7 days in each week. Each one of them has the word day. So we're going to sing our Days of the Week song. Here we go. Days of the week. 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 There's Sunday and there's Monday, there's Tuesday and there's Wednesday, there's Thursday and there's Friday, and then there's Saturday. Days of the week, days of the week, days of the week, days of the week, days of the week. Right, we're going to sing it again one more time. Here we go. Days of the week, days of the week, days of the week, days of the week, days of the week. There's Sunday and there's Monday, there's Tuesday and there's Wednesday, there's Thursday and there's Friday, and then there's Saturday. Days of the week, days of the week, days of the week, days of the week, days of the week. So now we're going to move into days of summer with our number fun there. So again, we're doing days of summer because we're not in school anymore. And so you've been in summer 25 days so far. So first we're going to look at what it would look like as a number word. It would look like this, where we would have 20 and then 5. Then we're going to look at it in terms of a 10 frame. Do you remember what the 10 frame could look like? Yeah, definitely. We want to start out with one group of 10. But then, is that it? Is that the number 25? Nope. So we're going to add how many more? We're going to add another group of 10. And then if we have two 10s together, that makes the number 20. Great job. And then we're actually going to get all the way to 25. So let's go ahead and count on from there. So 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and then 25. Do you see how many more we had to add to 20 to get to 25? Yeah, that's right. We had to add 5 more. And that matches up with what our number actually looks like if we look at our digits. So the 2 means we have how many 10s? Yep, 2 10s. And the 5 means how many 1s? 5 1s. Thanks, friends. The next thing we're going to look at is seeing if this number here is even or if it's odd. Do you remember what it means to be even? Yeah, it's even if each of those hearts there has a buddy. And it's odd if it's the complete opposite, if somebody's left out and doesn't have a buddy. Let's go ahead and look. We already know 10 is an even number. Each of those hearts have a buddy, so we'll skip on to this 10 here too. And we know that's even as well because each of those hearts has a buddy. Now let's look at this 5. These two hearts go together and they're a buddy system there. These two hearts go together and then this heart here is left by itself. So what do you think this number is? Yeah, it's odd. Great job. Now we're going to be moving on to one more thing with our Days of Summer number fun. We're going to look at 25 again and think about what it would look like in terms of 10s and 1s blocks. Do you remember how many 10s are in the number 25? We just talked about this. Yeah, there are 2 groups of 10. So I'm going to add 1 10, 2 10s, because that's the number 20. And then I need to get all the way to 25. What do you think I should do next? Yeah, I'm going to add 5 more 1s, just like I did before in that 10 frame. So I'm going to add 1 more. Let's count it. So that would be 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. Nice job. So again, it looks like the 2 tells me how many 10s I have, how many groups of 10 I have, and the 5 tells me how many 1s I have. Now we're going to look at 25, and we're going to see what would 1 more than 25 look like. If I add 1 more 1 here, what number would I get? Yeah, you're totally right. You would just count on one more. So it would be 25, 20, 26. Now, if I'm going to go backwards and I'm going to think about one less, I'm going to take away one of these blocks here, and you have to count backwards. What number would you end on? Yeah, you would end on 24. Another way to double check that is you could count it up. So you go 10, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, right? Because you take away one of the little ones from the bottom. All right, now we're going to look at 25 in terms of a number bond. Do you remember what our whole is here, or our total? Yeah, 25 is our whole or our total here. Do you know two parts that we could have that would add up to 25? Yeah, and I see that you're looking again at the tens block and the ones block picture there to help us out. So what's one of the numbers then? Yeah, one of the numbers would be 20. And then what's the other number? Yeah, the other number is 5. So we have our tens and our ones, and together they make 25. Two tens are 20, grouped with 5, together make 25. Great job, friends. That's the end of our calendar time. And now we're going to move into number sense. And so today is very special because we're not only going to do number sense, we're going to do it with word problems. I'm super excited for this. So here's our learning target. It says, I will solve word problems by making a 10. Let's go ahead and read it again together. It says, I will solve word problems by making a 10. Can you tell your family what you're going to be doing today? Great job. Thank you. And now we're actually going to go over that learning target so you know exactly what you're going to do today. So the first part again says, I will solve word problems. And so when you think of a word problem, it's usually a story with numbers where you're asked to figure something out. And usually you would have some sort of stuff or things, and they would tell you how many you have of each. Like a word problem could look like this. Say there are 5 of those dogs there and 3 of those cats. How many animals do you have in all? So that's an example of a word problem where you're asked to figure out something there. So we're going to solve word problems by making a 10. So we have our ways to make 10, and you guys are so great at this because we went over it last lesson as well. But we have our ways to make 10 listed here and here. The first part here, we figured this out last time by using our hands and thinking about what two parts go together to make 10. So we have 0 and 10. And then on this other side here, we have the same thing, except now we've flipped around the addends, because when you're adding, you can flip around those addends and you'd still get the same result. All right, so we're going to go ahead and practice this together. And then again, we're trying to figure out which two parts when we're adding. We're going to try to figure out if we can group together anything to make a 10. Here we go. So this is our first problem. And remember, we're solving, I will solve word problems by making a 10. Okay, so this is our first problem. It says, I have 6 cookies. You have 4 cookies. Your friend has 3 cookies. And then the problem we're trying to figure out is, how many do we have all together? So I have 6, you have 4, and then you have a friend who has 3. And we're going to try to figure out how many do we have all together. Do you know what our really important numbers are in this problem? Yeah, our really important numbers are 6, 4, and 3. That's what this problem is about there. Now, do you know what it's asking us to do? What are we trying to do in this problem? Yeah, we're definitely trying to figure out how many cookies there are all together. Do you know what that means? Yeah, that means we are going to be adding them together. So we're going to be putting that plus sign there. And then once we figure out how many there are all together, once we add up all those parts, then we're going to figure out what that number is the same as, or what our total is there. Okay, so looking at those numbers, 6, 4, and 3, remember our job is to add them by making a 10. Do you see any of those numbers there that can be grouped together to make a 10? Yeah, make sure you look at the ways to make 10 that I have up there. and think about maybe how you could group those numbers to make a 10. Do 6 and 4 go together to make a 10? Do 4 and 3 go together to make a 10? Do 6 and 3 go together to make a 10? What do you think? Yeah, that's it. 6 and 4 go together to make a 10, and that's right there on our ways to make 10. I'm going to group them together to make a 10 there. And then I have 10 and I have 3 left over. Do you know what that is? Yeah, that is the teen number 13. Nice job, friends. Okay, we're going to do one more all together. See, I love these word problems. So the first one here, it says, I have 3 strawberries, you have 5 oranges, and your friend has 7 apples. And here's our problem. It says, how many do we have in all? How many do we have in all? How many do we have all together? Let's read it again one more time. I have 3 strawberries, you have 5 oranges, and your friend has 7 apples. How many do we have in all? So we have all these different parts, and we're going to figure out how many do we have in all. But first, do you know our really important numbers in this problem? Yeah, that's it. We have 3, 5, and 7. And now, do you know what this problem is asking us to do? Yeah, this problem is asking us to figure out how many do we have in all. And when it's asking us to do that, do you know what we're supposed to do there? Yeah, we're supposed to add them all together. And once we do that, once we add them all together, then we can figure out what's that total or what it's going to be the same as. Great job. And then remember today, when we're adding these 3 numbers, we're going to try to figure out making a 10. So I have our ways to make 10 right there. Do you think you can look and see how you can make a 10 with these 3 numbers? Do 3 and 5 go together? Do 5 and 7 go together? Do 3 and 7 go together? What do you think? Yeah, can you point to it on our ways to make 10? Yeah, that's it. Our 3 and our 7, we're going to use that one right there. And we're going to group those numbers together to make 10. And now what number is left over? Yeah, our 5 is left over. And now we can quickly add. What is 10 and 5 more? What number does that make? Yeah, that's it. It's a teen number, the number 15. Right on. We have one more together. This one's going to be about lollipops. I told you this was super fun. So I have 8 lollipops. So I have 8. You have 5. And your friend has 2 lollipops. And the problem is, what is our total together? What do you think? What are the really important numbers in this problem? Yeah, 8, 5, and 2. And now, do you know what this problem is asking us to do? Yeah, it's asking us to find our total. And what does that mean? Yes, that we need to add all these numbers together. And so again, like these last 2 problems, once we add all these numbers together, then we can figure out our total or what it's the same as. And remember, when we're trying to add today, we're going to be thinking about our ways to make 10 so we can add efficiently and faster. Now, what do you think? Do you see any of those numbers that can be grouped together to make a 10? Yeah, that's it. We're going to have what? Yeah, we're going to have our 8 and our 2. And those 2 are going to be grouped together to make 10. And then do you see what number's left over? Yeah, our 5 is left over. So again, what's 10 and 5 more? Yeah, that's it. It's 15, another teen number. Great job, friends. Right, this is the end of our time together. But today we practiced solving word problems by making a 10, and it was super fun because those word problems were so cool, right? So we thought about what they meant. And remember, word problems had some sort of story where you were asking to find something, where you asked to figure something out. We had our ways to make 10, and we were trying to look at them so that we could easily group some numbers so that we could count on easily and figure out what our number could be, our whole. And then I'll go ahead and I'll see you next week, okay? Bye now. a nuestro cuarto día de clases. Estoy tan feliz de que estés aquí y no puedo esperar para practicar matemáticas juntos. Hoy es 9 de julio, entonces vamos a ver algo del número 9. Y la palabra 9 es N-U-E-V-E. ¿Y el número 9 es par o impar? Sí, es impar, porque mira, hay uno más. Si ponemos 9 en dos grupos, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. ¿Todos los bloques tienen parejas? No, no todos. Ellos sí, pero hay uno que no tiene una pareja y significa que el número 9 es impar. Y con nuestra tabla de 10 tenemos 9 fichas. Faltamos 1 para hacer 10. ¿Qué es 1 más que 9? 1 más que 9 es 10. Brincamos 1 en la línea numérica para llegar a 10. ¿Y qué es 1 menos de 9? 8. Muy bien, brincamos atrás y llegamos en 8. Charlas de números es una parte de la rutina. ¿Listos? Dime el número que pueden ver en la pantalla. 3. ¿Dijiste 3? Muy bien. 6. 6. 6 más 6 es 12. Mira, 3 y 3 es 6. Y el doble de 6 es 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 5. Muy bien. 5 más 5. 10. Excelente. Ahora estamos listos para aprender y usar nuestra meta en problemas verbales. Mi meta es, lean conmigo, puedo resolver ecuaciones usando sumas y restas. Cuando sumar, ¿el número va más grande o más pequeño? Más grande. Y cuando restamos los números, ¿qué pasa? Los números están más pequeños. Muy bien. Puedo usar el signo más para sumar, para poner números juntos. Y puedo usar menos para restar, cuando quitamos números de otro número. Y también puedo mostrar mi trabajo con un dibujo. ¿Qué, chicos? ¿Recuerdas la ecuación que te di ayer? Vamos a repasarlo juntos con Rosa y Oso otra vez como ayer, pero con una ecuación diferente. 17 menos 9. ¿Es un problema de resta o suma? Resta, muy bien. Entonces tenemos que quitar 9 de 17. Rosa va a compartir primero. Ella está lista. 17 menos 9. Use la misma estrategia de ayer. Pensé que 9 más 1 es 10. Y sé que ahora tengo que encontrar la diferencia entre 10 y 17. Entonces, 17 menos 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 es igual a 10 también. Y hay
7 brincas entre 17 y 10. 17 menos 7 es igual a 10. Y ahora solo necesito poner 7 y 1 juntos para ver la diferencia entre 17 y 9. 7 más 1 es 8. 7 más 1 es 8. Por lo tanto, 17 menos 9 es igual a 8. Vamos a chequear el trabajo de Rosa. Gracias, Rosa. Ella dijo que 17 menos 9 es igual a 8. Vamos a ver, 17, empezamos con 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Llegamos en 8. Excelente. Entonces tenía razón. Y Oso otra vez hizo la tabla de 10. ¿Qué hiciste, Oso? El mismo de ayer. Puse 9 fichas amarillas esta vez porque empecé con 9 y conté hacia adelante hasta 17. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Y Oso, ¿cuántos tienes ahora en total? 17. Muy bien. ¿Cuántos hay en la tabla de 10 aquí? 7. ¿Y cuántos hay aquí? 10. 10 más 7 es igual a 17 y menos 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 es igual a 8. Es lo mismo que Rosa. Muy bien, chicos. El punto del juego es crear familias de números. Tengo la tabla así, con 3 espacios para los números, con sumas aquí y restas aquí. Oso y Rosa van a jugar conmigo y vamos a poner los números en cada espacio y hacer las sumas y las restas. ¿Listos? Tengo la bolsa aquí y Rosa va primero. Rosa va primero. 5. Ella tiene el número 5. Ponemos el número 5 en el azul, así, en el espacio azul. Y ahora ella va a escoger otro. Escogió 1, el número 1. Ponemos 1 en el otro lado y ahora sumamos los números 5 y 1. 5 más 1 es igual a ¿qué? ¿Qué es, Rosa? 6. Sí, 5 más 1 es igual a 6 y ponemos 6 arriba. Y en la ecuación también. Ahora, si cambiamos los números 5 y 1, 1 va aquí y 5 aquí, ¿qué es mi respuesta, Rosa? 6. Muy bien, es 6. Porque recuerdan, cuando tenemos números y sumamos los números al revés, todavía es el mismo. Ahora, ¿qué vamos a hacer con la resta? Necesitamos empezar con un número más grande para restar, para quitar números. aquí tenemos 6, es el número más grande. Ponemos 6 aquí, menos 5. Y 6 menos 5 es igual a 1. Si hago un dibujo con 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, y quito 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ¿cuántos quedan? 1. Entonces, si le va a ayudar a dibujar para encontrar tus respuestas, está bien, es perfecto. Ahora, la última ecuación es con 6 primero, menos 1. ¿Y qué es mi respuesta? 5. Muy bien, porque tenemos los 3 números y todos están aquí como una mezcla y ya sabemos que tenemos 4 ecuaciones correctas. ¿Quieres hacer otro? Ok, Oso, es tu turno. Oso. 5 otra vez. Ok, vamos a poner 5 aquí. Y el otro número es 7, un número más grande. 7. Tenemos 5 y 7. Ahora ponemos 5 y 7 juntos. Porque los números son más grandes, ahora voy a poner mis puntitos para contar con mi mano. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, más 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Y en total tenemos 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11. 11. 5 más 7 es igual a 11. No, vamos a contar otra vez. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Solo puse 6 puntitos aquí. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. ¿Oso 12 es correcto? Sí, dice que sí. Ok, ahora al revés, empezamos con 7 y 5. Y ya sabes la regla, ¿verdad? Entonces, ¿qué es 7 más 5? 12. Y ahora necesitamos empezar con el número más grande de nuestra familia de números. Para restar, empezamos con 12 en las dos ecuaciones. Y aquí restamos 7 y aquí 5. Voy a poner los puntitos otra vez. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Y quitamos 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Quedan 5. Y ya sabía eso, ¿verdad? Porque nuestro tercer número está aquí, 5. Y entonces, ¿cuál sería? 12 menos 5. 7. Muy bien, es una familia de números. Y chicos, pueden hacer este juego en casa con los miembros de tu familia. Espero que te diviertas y nos vemos muy pronto.